Good evening. Welcome to the big story. I'm Regina Lee.
I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Sean Yao.
Tonight's big stories. Former President Rodrigo Duterte jokes about killing senators to make room for his preferred senatorial candidates. He also slams President Marcos over his alleged drug use.
The president's senatorial ticket is heading next to Davao del Norte, a known bailiwick of the Dutertes. And in a little while, the coalition's campaign manager, Congressman Toby Tiangco, joins us for a discussion about their strategy.
And the Bangko Sentral holds off adjustments in interest rates as a way to hedge against uncertainties in global trade policies.
As expected, former President Rodrigo Duterte came out swinging against the administration at his party's campaign kickoff. First thing he blasted President Marcos on is the persistent problem of high prices.
Bukang hindi niya kaya na habulin yung presyo. Yan na lang sa pagkain. Huwag na yung iba. Pwede na natin yung graft and corruption. Nandyan yan eh. Baski anong klaseng administrasyon. Pero yung immediate, urgent need to solve is really itong presyo or the price of rice. Panay na lang ang pangako mo and you keep on, promising people for so many things. Ngayon, kung mas madali maghanap ng trabaho ngayon sa panahon niya, then doon ka sa kanya.
In true Duterte fashion, his speech at the PDP Laban Proclamation rally at Club Filipino last night was also punctuated with insults, curses, and inappropriate jokes. For instance, he suggested killing in a bomb blast to make room for his preferred candidates.
Patayin natin yung mga senador ngayon para mabakante. Kung makapatay tayo ng mga 15 na senador, pasok na tayo lahat.
The former president endorsed 9 candidates. They are Senators Bato de la Rosa and Bongo, Sagip Party List Congressman Rodante Marcoleta, lawyers Vic Rodriguez, Jimmy Bondoc, Raul Lambino, and JV Hinlo, as well as actor Philip Salvador and detained religious leader Apollo Quiboloy. Duterte also once again accused President Marcos of being a drug user.
Meron isang presidente na talagang bangag. Hindi naman buang, pero yung bisyo ng droga, long term yan. Maging ulol si Marcos kung maybe constant use of heroin, aabot pa siguro siya ng 80. Pero pagdating sa panahon na yan, hindi na siya gumagalaw.
Malacanang has yet to respond to Duterte's tirades. Although during the campaign kickoff, Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas in Lawag, Marcos himself came out swinging against the previous administration. Iloilo 3rd District Representative Lawrence Defensor, who is a member of the House Prosecution Panel for the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte, said that Duterte's remarks about killing senators is no laughing matter.
Hindi biro yon. Conditioning yon para ma-normalize ang salitang pagpatay sa isip ng mga Pilipino. Kasi magiging depensa din yun nila sa impeachment trial. So mag-ingat tayo. Huwag na tayo magpapaloko pa sa ganyang conditioning ng mga taong bayan. If I were the senators, I would not sit quietly taking that statement. Sabi ko, kung binabato na yung bahay nyo, dapat gumising na kayo at tumindig na kung ano yung dapat gawin under the Constitution. And that is to proceed with trial, proceed forthwith with trial.
In a statement, House Assistant Majority Leader Jude Asidre said, talagang mag-ama nga sila. Si anak nagbanta na ipapapatay ang presidente at speaker. Si ama naman gustong ipapatay ang mga senador. Parang gusto nila bumingo sa lagay na yan. After Lawag in Iloilo, the president's senatorial ticket is off to Mindanao, a known bailiwick of the Dutertes. The Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas kicks off the southern leg of their campaign tomorrow, February 15, at the Carmen Municipal Park and Plaza in Davao del Norte. The administration-backed slate is aiming to regain support in one of the regions where President Marcos got overwhelming votes in 2022. Back then, he received 81% of the votes, or about 470,000 out of 577,000 in Davao del Norte. But the big caveat is, of course, back then, he was running in tandem with Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte. After Mindanao, the Alyansa slate will head to Pasay City to kickstart their NCR campaign leg.
Well, who better to talk about the administration's senatorial ticket than Navotas Congressman Toby Tiangco, who is the campaign manager of Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas. Welcome to the big story, Representative Tiangco. Thanks for coming all the way here on the eve of a big rally.
Yes, bukas po ang rally natin sa Davao del Norte.
Before we get to talking about your strategy there, for those who don't know, tell us how you became the campaign manager for Alyansa.
No, I was called one day and I was told that I'm going to be the campaign manager.
Ganun lang parang na-assign ka na. You just got a call.
Ikaw ang campaign manager. Okay.
You didn't hesitate to take it on.
No.
Okay.
No.
You believed in the cause, the advocacy.
Yes, of course. I believe in the cause. I believe in our candidates.
And let's refresh
Sorry,
everyone's
who
memory.
called you ba?
Hindi, kasi when they called me, halos buo na yung kandidato noon eh.
So
Wala
you
na
had
yata
no hand
kaming-
in picking
No,
the
I had no hand in picking the candidates.
Okay.
Wala, buo na yung 12 kandidato at buo na din yung alyansa ng 5 partido.
Right.
When I came in.
Right. Okay.
Okay, parang late last year na officially na in-announce na
Yes,
ikaw
I
yung
think it
campaign
was
manager.
September
Burr
kung hindi
months,
ako
definitely.
nagkakamali. Yeah,
Yes.
September.
But Kong, let's refresh everyone's memory. Ano nga ba no yung common denominator? What is your campaign rally this time around? Is it still gonna be unity?
No, first of all, paliwanag natin paano ba napili at paano ba nabuo yung alyansa, no? So Alyansa is composed of 5 political parties. So when I came in, nandun na yung 5 political parties.
Right.
At yung karamihan doon sa 5 political parties ay nag-nominate ng kanilang mga senatorial candidates. So ganyan nabuo yung candidates para sa senatorial. No? And I'm saying it's not just a slate. It's really an alliance para sa bagong
Coalition nga
Pilipinas.
siya. That's why I feel like, obviously a lot of people here in the Philippines, they think, pag tuwing eleksyon, nagsasama-sama lang yung malalakas para sure ball na manalo lahat. I mean, that's a kind of an understandable and very simplistic way to put it. But some people, of course, are a little bit more thoughtful and they're like, ano ba talaga? Yung
Okay,
battle cry ng buong alyansa.
Yeah, paano ba nagkasama-sama yung 5 partido? Yan ang mga partido na sumusuporta sa legislative agenda ng ating Pangulo. Yan yung partido na sumusuporta doon sa Kongreso, doon sa majority. No? So naturally, gusto nila na mapagpatuloy yung programa ng ating Pangulo.
Big day tomorrow, Davao
Yes.
del Norte.
Yes.
Of course, as we just read, 81% voted for President Marcos in 2022. But back then, of course, the unity was intact. He was running in tandem with Vice President Sara Duterte. How are you changing the strategy this time around? You know you're going to be up against
The most
gonna be an
important thing
uphill
naman
climb
is
here.
for the candidates to let the people know kung ano yung nagawa na nila at kung ano pa yung gagawin nila. Yun lang naman if you will listen to their speeches, karamihan sa kanila, lahat siguro sila, sinasabi ano yung nagawa nila kasi meron na silang mga nahawakang mga posisyon, di ba? Either local government, cabinet secretary, naging senador, lahat naman sila ay na-elect na. So, syempre, kung ikaw ay na-elect na, dapat mong sabihin sa taong bayan, sa ating mga kababayan, kung ano yung mga nagawa mo na. At syempre, kung ano pa yung plano mong gawin, kaya ka tumatakbo bilang senador ngayong 2025.
But Congressman, are you still counting on that 81%? I mean, the overwhelming number of votes in Davao, considering, of course, wala na nga po yung unity. How big of a factor was Sara Duterte in 2022, and now that the administration slate, of course, as we know, has this ongoing, let's call it conflict with the other party?
No, kahit naman saan lugar, no, kahit sabihin mo doon sa norte, sa Ilocos, hindi naman kami confident. Kaya nga pinupuntahan namin ang bawat lugar para paliwanag sa tao at malaman din kung ano yung pulso ng mga tao doon, kung ano yung mga problema nila na kailangan nating harapin. No? So we will not take any area for granted. Kahit doon sa area na perceive na malakas kami, pinupuntahan rin namin. So doon sa areas na dapat namin trabahuin, pupuntahan rin namin. But of course, we just have 21 rallies out
This
of
is
the
the third.
90-day
Tomorrow is the
period.
third,
Yeah.
right.
The reason why it's 21 is because we have to campaign as a team, but also we need time to give time, bigyan ng oras yung ating mga kandidato
Right.
to go to places where they think they have to go. Diba? Kasi kung 12 sila, hindi naman pare-pareho yung lugar na gusto nilang puntahan, hindi naman pare-pareho yung lugar na malakas sila, hindi rin pare-pareho yung lugar na mahina
So
sila.
divide and conquer.
Hindi,
May
dapat,
ganun, oo.
I mean,
Sariling
ang,
sikap din.
hindi, ang sariling sikap dahil they have to be strong individually for them to win. No? Hindi naman bumoboto talaga yung mga kababayan natin ng buong partido, di ba? Pumipili sila kung sino yung gusto nila. So para manalo yung mga kandidato natin, kailangan individually mapakita nila kung ano yung nagawa nila at kung ano pa yung kaya nilang gawin.
But as far as Mindanao is concerned, you're not changing anything.
No,
It's
no,
going to
no,
be
no.
the same
No, no.
messaging. You
No.
think it's still going to resonate the
No,
same
the
way
message
that-
now is
Oh.
what they can individually do to help the president in his legislative agenda to bring a better life for the Filipino people. So ano ba yung mga programang dapat nilang gawin at suportahan doon sa ating Pangulo para mas mapaganda ang buhay ng ating mga kababayan. So definitely that will be the agenda. And how each of them with their own strengths, yung kanilang mga kalakasan, makakatulong doon sa programang yun.
Actually, that's what I heard, that you had commissioned a
survey.
SWOT analysis study for each of your candidates to talk
I will
about their
not
strengths.
confirm or deny.
No, I read it already. You
we
were
reported
quoted.
it already,
Yeah.
too late.
Okay.
Strengths, weaknesses of each candidate, you gave it to each of them para they know where they're
Magaling
coming
kayo
from.
mag-research,
Ano
ah.
yung assessment. What can you tell us about their, about where each candidate is, individually and collectively? Sino
Oh,
yung in terms of the strengths and weaknesses?
Oh,
what are
na
they
secret
looking?
namin yun.
Secret.
Secret
na lang,
namin, that's
palitan natin.
between them and me.
You had said in a previous interview na all the studies that you guys have commissioned, maybe including the one Regina's referring to, they do not yet include the impact or possible impact of impeachment.
Hindi, kasi,
Kasi
yung
before
field
pa
work
yun.
ng lahat na yon is before the impeachment. No? Pero, siyempre, papagawa ulit kami para malaman namin kung ano ba yung impact ng impeachment.
Pero hindi ba dapat nasa inyo na yung resulta by now? Kasi nag-kick off
No,
na yung
it's not
national
that
campaign.
easy to do a nationwide. Kailan ba yung impeachment? Yung impeachment was
February
February
5.
5,
Just
no?
this month.
Wednesday.
So, hindi kaya yun. It takes
So you
3
finished
weeks.
the report before then?
Yeah, no, the report was given after that date, but the fieldwork was done before that
of
date.
course, of course.
Oo. So ngayon, tuloy-tuloy naman yung survey natin. So, I mean, whether nagkaroon ng impeachment o hindi, tuloy-tuloy naman yung internal surveys namin para malaman talaga kung ano yung issue na pinakamahalaga sa ating mga kababayan.
And what were those issues? Okay, let's. You don't have to tell us any strengths and weaknesses
Huwag
of
na
each
yun,
candidate. Ano yung
malalaman.
issues?
If I tell you what the
Lalaban ng kalaban.
if I tell you what the issues are, malalaman din ng kalaban, di
Based
ba?
on the other public polls, we already kind of know corruption. Well, actually, no. Inflation is still number one.
Okay,
We
no,
know
let's,
the cottage
do it this
issue.
way. You
There's
tell,
corruption.
basta may public polls naman,
Oh.
makikita naman natin doon kung ano yung issues. But syempre, we believe in our surveys na meron kami nakikita mga bagay na kami lang nakakakita.
So
That's
malalaman na lang namin.
No, that's why we do our own surveys.
Right.
No? Otherwise, we would just commission and it's much cheaper to
Correct,
just subscribe,
yeah.
di ba?
Correct, yeah.
So,
There's at least 3 big posters
yes,
out there. Yeah.
So that's why we do our in-house para malaman kung ano talaga yung mga kailangan ibigay na programa para sa ating mga kababayan.
Ganito lang, Kong Toby. So can you confirm na lang whether or not the topic of impeachment is being already considered for these current surveys that are still ongoing?
No, we just want to know. Of course, it's an issue, but kahit naman ano yung lumabas sa survey, sa tingin ko, wala naman sa 12 kandidato namin ang magbibigay ng kanyang stand doon sa impeachment. Kasi kung sakaling sila ay mananalo, sila ay magiging senator judge, di ba? So they cannot give their opinion right now. I think that's the best thing to do. Kasi, paano kung nanalo ka, nagbigay ka na ng opinion, di ba? Baka pa-inhibit ka pa, di ba?
But is there a directive, Kong?
No. If you will see in all issues, di ba? Nakita mo naman in all issues, hindi naman sila nagkakatugma. Minsan, meron silang suggestions sa present programs ng gobyerno. And some people think of it as criticism, di ba? May mga kandidato kami na may sinasabi sila tungkol sa programa ng gobyerno. Isip ng iba, kritisismo. Pero sa amin, okay lang yun, di ba? If it's constructive criticism, of course, we will listen.
I want to come back to the issues because it's we're trying to make it into an issues-based election.
Yes.
Okay, so
Mas maganda
survey
yun.
after survey says inflation is still the #1 concern across the Philippines.
Yes.
And you heard former President Duterte, the first thing he hit the current administration on is the price of rice.
Yes.
Right? Which is, right now we're in a food security emergency. So there's
Yes.
no denying that talagang
Yes.
this is a problem.
Yes,
So-
and
so
we have
how
to
do
face
you-
it head on.
Correct. So how what is, without revealing too much about your strategy, what is the direction you're trying to take the candidates in?
Okay, first of all, we have to admit that the price of rice, and not only rice, lahat
Basic
ng
goods.
basic goods, hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas naman tumaas, di ba? Kahit magtanong kayo sa iba't ibang bansa, yung presyo ng bigas doon, tumaas din. Yung presyo ng pagkain, tumaas din. Kasi lahat tumaas, di ba? Presyo ng fertilizer, tumaas. So lahat yan tumaas, no? So kaya nga, makikita naman natin dito sa mga programa ng gobyerno, talagang ina-address yung price of rice. And it's so important that yesterday, when we had the rally in Iloilo, kaya doon kami nag-rally, kasi doon din yung RDC meeting ng presidente, di ba? So if we want the president to be able to attend, we have to follow his schedule. So sa trabaho niya, meron siyang Regional Development Council meeting. And it's so important na kasama pa niya si Secretary Francisco Tiula-Laurel kahapon doon sa RDC meeting. So ibig sabihin, ito'y problema na ina-address talaga ng Pangulo.
So that's coming back to my question. That's your messaging. It's like you're trying
Yes.
to deliver the message now. Okay, we understand there's a problem, but we're
Yes.
trying to address it head on as well.
Yes, definitely.
And the way to address it is to vote straight, parang ganon. I mean, obviously, that's going to be the message.
For
right?
me, vote straight does not work. Vote for one. You have to name each of them. Kaya nga you have to make them individually strong. Hindi pa pwedeng pakiusap natin iboto yung 12 kandidato without people knowing bakit nila dapat iboto ang bawat isa sa kanila.
Okay. Kong Toby, I'm going to steer it back to the kickoff in Lawag.
Okay.
Where we heard President Marcos. And gabi-gabi, no, since that speech earlier this week, pinag-uusapan namin na parang medyo a little bit out of character sa kinagisnan natin kay President Marcos yung language niya. It was a bit spicy. It was, some would call it negative campaigning. Was this
He came out
strategically?
fighting, I would say.
He's
Nagulat
usually
kami. Very moderate, very
Pati ako
civilized.
nagulat. Hindi ko naman nabasa yung speech bago siya nagsalita. Hindi ko naman nabasa. So, nagulat din ako.
Okay, so but is that not going to be, kumbaga, kasi we're trying to make these elections issues-based as best as we can. I think we can
No,
all
but
agree on that.
those are issues, tignan mo. Sinabi niya, he just wanted to put, I think what he wanted to do is to identify where you stand on issues, di ba? For example, yung West Philippine Sea. Yung West Philippine Sea is really an issue. Saan ka ba? Di ba? Doon ka ba sa paninindigan mo yung Hague ruling na not an inch of Philippine territory will be surrendered, o doon ka ba sa magiging friendly sa China? So that is an issue na dapat nating pag-usapan, di
I
ba?
completely agree, but I also have to point out when President Marcos was campaigning for the presidency in 2022, he positioned himself as a continuity candidate. He said he would set aside the Hague ruling too, right?
No, but the problem
back
yes,
then he
go
said,
ahead.
no, we're not going to ask the U.S. for help to deal with China, which is why he was perceived as the continuity candidate to Duterte. Diba?
Okay.
So I get your point, but we have to look at his history, his track record, and back then, iba din yung sinabi niya.
Okay.
Is my point.
Okay. Ang stand naman niya talaga is a friend to everyone and an enemy to none, di ba? Pero paano naman gagawin natin kung gano'n na yung ginagawa doon sa Coast Guard natin? Paano naman gagawin natin kung binabangga na yung Coast Guard natin? Paano naman gagawin natin kung yung mga mangingisda natin ay inaapi doon sa West Philippine Sea? Can you keep that same stance? Hindi na pa pwede yun, di ba? He could have said that before, pero kung nag-iba na yung trato ng China sa atin, hindi naman pa pwedeng wala siyang gawin, di ba? Ibig sabihin, nakikita naman natin, hindi naman natin inimbento na binabangga yung Philippine Coast Guard. Hindi naman natin inimbento na yung mangingisda natin pinapaalis doon. So how will he keep that stance naman kung ganun ang ginagawa sa atin? So kailangan mag-iba din, di ba?
So the fact that he...
Tapos number
go
two,
ahead.
yung sa
Drug war.
drug war. Okay, it's an issue. So where do you stand? Sa kay Presidente Marcos, bloodless drug on war. Sa kanila, yung strategy nila is tokhang. So those are issues naman. Hindi naman black propaganda yun because those are real issues.
Yeah.
Pero marami rin nagsasabi ko ang Toby, since that speech, syempre hindi lang naman kami yung nakapansin, marami rin namang nakinig. Ang sinasabi kasi nila, hindi naman talaga lahat nung mga, kumbaga lang, lahat ng members ng Alyansa, nung buong slate, dati rin naman, they were also supporting
silent.
President Duterte.
For example, Congresswoman Franz Castro pointed out that yes, right now they're on the administration slate, pero back in President Duterte's time, diba, they were also clapping when he would talk about tokhang, right, during his State of the Nation address. So inconsistency is what we're trying to point out here. Yes, we believe in letting the candidates talk about the track record and their stance on issues, but you have to be consistent.
No, but there's no inconsistency. He has never said that the war on drugs would be bloody. Di ba? Alam mo naman siya, mabait na, nakita mo naman yung presidente, napakabait nun, di ba? Napakapasenso. So he never said it's going to be bloody. He always said that he values each and every life. So kaya nga bloodless war on drugs. So wala namang inconsistency doon.
True, pero totoo yun, no, Kong? Pero hindi na kasi si President Marcos yung kandidato, di ba? So kung
Okay.
titingnan natin yung members ng slate, some of them, and napakadami ng analysis nito, sobrang daming journalists gumawa ng talagang humukay sa archives
Okay.
ng mga soundbite.
Okay.
It's all there. Kanina binabasa ko lang on the way here sa Philippine
Okay.
Star, sabi nila, okay, ano yung stand na itong kandidato na to, nung tokhang? O, di ba? Yung iba pa, sumuporta, nag-file ng bill na ganito. So, parang, kumbaga, yung flip-flopping, I don't know if naging
Okay,
kinagis na naman natin. Like, should we stand for this? How do we, explain this away to the voting public na parang, ba't ganyan yung kandidato nyo? Pabaling-baling, balimbing, or whatever.
Hindi, paano naman yung lumalabas na mga ebidensya ng EJK, di ba? O, siyempre, pwede naman silang mag-iba kung nakakakita na sila ng ebidensya ng extrajudicial killings, di ba? So, yun naman ang pagkakaiba.
So in your mind, hindi siya flip-flopping. It's not being a turncoat.
No.
It's you're entitled to change your mind.
Yes.
Okay.
As events, I guess, reveal themselves. Okay, let's talk about one other big surprise apart from President Bongbong Marcos' speech in Lawag was kung darating ba si Senator Imee Marcos or hindi. I think around 5:30 p.m. na pinagdedebatehan pa namin kung
Hindi
darating
ba,
ba or hindi.
bakit naman pinagdidebatihan yun? At bakit naman magiging
Because she
sorpresa?
called herself an independent. Because she flat out refused a spot in your 12-man slate.
No, at that time, she just said she wants to be free to go. Kasi ang problema, okay, even kami I'll explain. Ang hirap talaga ng local politics. Even kami, kahapon sa Iloilo rally, sasabihin ko, aaminin ko, naiipit kami sa labanang lokal, di ba? So ang isip ko doon, ayaw niyang maipit sa labanang lokal na kung ito yung kakampi ng Alyansa, mapipilitan siyang tumayo sa entablado ng isang kandidatong lokal ng Alyansa kung meron naman siyang kaibigan o mas gusto niyang suportahan na kandidato na hindi kasama sa Alyansa. Di ba? Right after that kasi nakita ko naman siya, pumunta rin naman siya doon sa mga rallies ng mga local candidates ng Alyansa at meron naman yatang hindi siya pinuntahan. So I think she just wanted to be free. Kasi ang hirap kahit doon sa Iloilo, hirap na hirap ako doon. Dahil kakampi namin lahat, pero sila naglalaban-laban. So ang hirap magbalanse doon. Ang hirap ibalanse doon because for example, doon lang sa venue, sabi ng isang kakampi namin dito. So hindi sila magkasundo. Kung pipili kami, one of the two, magtatampo. So napilitan pa kaming magkuha ng, para wala lang problema, kuha lang tayo ng private place. Tapos yun na lang ang gamitin natin.
Okay,
Para
so
walang
bukas,
problema.
Kong Toby, kompleto
Okay.
ba? 12 ba ang pupunta sa Davao del Norte? Is Senator Imee, I guess yun na yung hidden question doon, no? Pupunta ba si
No,
Senator Imee?
I assume that they're all going, so that's why I don't ask if they're going or not.
So the assumption is always lahat.
Yes, because ang nandun ng presidente. So ang assumption ko, pupunta naman sila. Of course, maintindihan naman natin kung for very important reasons, unpredictable reasons, hindi sila makapunta. Ano man magawa natin?
Okay.
Since you guys brought up impeachment already, let's not forget you are still a sitting congressman.
Yes.
And I know you've been asked this, and sinagot mo na, why you didn't sign the
Yes.
impeachment complaint.
Yes.
And you've said your signature isn't needed.
No, I didn't say. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that my signature is not needed. No.
You needed time.
No, what I'm saying is, kasi alam ko last session day namin nun. Okay. Alam ko na because of the legislative calendar, sabay naman kami ng Senado, hindi naman siya matatalakay na until June 2. So, first of all, napakaseryosong bagay ng impeachment kasi it's so divisive, di ba? Nag-aaway-away yung mga tao. May eleksyon na nga tayo. Normally, pag eleksyon, nagtatalo-talo yung mga tao. Dito sa impeachment, nag-aaway-away yung mga tao. So, ang iniisip ko is, ano ang magiging epekto ng impeachment sa ating bansa? Whether internally, between Filipinos, o kung ano yung tingin sa atin ng mga investors o ng mga mamumuhunan dito. So, yung bagay na yun, hindi ko naman kayang pagdesisyonan. I mean, yun yung problema on my part. Hindi ko siya mapagdesisyonan ng ganun ng isang araw. Hindi ko naman yun inakala na kailangan ko magdesisyon ng ganun kabilis. Kasi sabi ko, kung June 2 rin naman mapag-uusapan yan sa Senado, baka nga kaya ngayon pinag-uusapan para pag-isipan mo over the break. Yun ang iniisip ko. So hindi ako
So nagulat ka rin na parang it was all done and dusted in one day?
Hindi, yun. Sinabi sa akin na itra-transmit na nila. So, okay. Tsaka syempre, kailangan ko pa-check sa abogado ko, bigyan ako ng briefer. Talagang dapat pag-isipan na mabuti because it's not only the legal issue, it's not only the issue of the impeachment, it is the issue na kung ano ang mangyayari sa ating bansa dahil sa issue na to. So yun ang mas malaking picture sa akin. Hindi ko tinitignan lang kung ano yung complaint. Tinitignan ko kung ano yung epekto nito doon sa ating bansa.
So basically, yun yung parang yung initial words no, ni President Bongbong Marcos na ayaw kasi magkakagulo lang yung bansa.
Hindi ba tayo nagkakagulo ngayon? Di ba? Nagkakagulo na nga, di ba? So, yun yung reason.
Nobody pressured you to sign.
Okay, for the record, no one called me to sign.
Okay.
No one.
But did you attend the caucus?
No.
So,
Hindi ka rin na-invite sa caucus?
Hindi.
Hindi ka pumunta.
Wala ka na talaga.
Hindi yung caucus naman. Kasi
It's a political party caucus.
biglaan yung caucus eh. Biglaan yung caucus. So, nagulat ako, biglang may caucus na lang. Nung nagbibihis na ako, I got the wrong information. Kala ko, lakas caucus lang. So, hindi ako tumuloy. Pero nung walang kumausap sa akin.
Okay.
Hindi ko alam bakit.
And there were no issues afterwards that hindi ka nag-sign? Hindi naman naging issue?
Wala rin nagtatanong sa akin ba?
Kami pala.
Media lang.
Media lang ang nagtatanong sa akin bakit hindi ako nag-sign.
Because it's very striking because you represent Alyansa, of course. Tapos, here you are as a congressman, you didn't sign, right?
No,
So
I think,
it stood out to us.
I think they respect naman my decision on matters like this. No one spoke to me. Like, nakakausap ko siyempre presidente dahil nagkakasama kami sa rally. Not even asking me why I didn't sign. He doesn't even talk about the impeachment. Not even once.
Oh, wow.
This past, right after the impeachment, he never spoke
So
about
puro
it.
kampanya ang topic? Since ikaw yung campaign.
Hindi lang puro kampanya, pati governance, ganito yung mga programang gagawin natin of course, ang madalas pag-usapan doon is yung presyo ng bilihin. So ganito yung mga programang
But
gagawin
my
natin.
last question on this, for the record, as a lawmaker, do you agree with the impeachment? If you had more time to review, let's say hindi siya last day na session.
Wala kasi nung pinasa na nila doon, hindi ko na
Yeah, I know,
binasa.
but
Hindi ko na binasa. Bakit ko pa mabasahin, di ba? Ano pang ibig sabihin nun? Ano pang ibig sabihin nun sa akin? Ang kapal nun, ha?
37 pages now. They condensed it into 37 pages.
Siyempre, unang gagawin natin dyan.
Yun yung briefer.
Yung
briefer yung 37 pages.
I don't think 37 pages.
Tatlong
kasi
rim daw yung totoo.
Yan.
Tatlong rim.
More likely tatlong rim. So, bakit ko naman babasahin? Pawala ng bilang yung yung boto ko doon, di ba? It doesn't matter.
Kasi nga meron daw gumawa ng 37-page briefer. Parang kumbaga Cliff's Notes sa shortcut ba? Like for the
Tsaka
cause.
hindi I mean sa bilang campaign manager, hindi lang naman yung it's not an easy job because it's not only the campaigns, it's not only the strategy, it's not only the rallies. Also the administrative work,
Yeah.
di ba? Kailangan kong asikasuhin. Like, kaya nga sabi ko, punta lang ako dito ngayon kasi galing ako sa headquarters. So, di ba?
Yun nga yung
Sinili
isa pang
binasa ni Kong.
pahinga muna tayo sa impeachment. Pero
No, I just wanted to a final answer on
final.
where he stands with the impeachment, whether
Do you agree or not?
Hindi ko na
niya
talaga.
binasa.
wala ka ng stand. ganun.
Hindi ko na binasa.
Okay.
Tapos na di ba? Bakit ko papaghihirapan yung
Okay.
ganyan kakapal. And yung survey lang na mga kailangan kong basahin, imagine ilan yung surveys na lumalabas, 3, 4. I mean, basa lang ako ng basa nun.
ano ba yung ginagawa talaga ng isang campaign manager? I mean, I have an idea, pero to be honest, hindi ako completely sure. I mean, there's always, for all the big, big coalitions or big parties, they always have a national campaign manager. Give us an idea kung ano ba ang ginagawa ng national campaign
Okay.
manager? At saka ano ba yung mga KPIs mo sa iyong mga bossing?
Hindi, for me, of course, the ultimate KPI is the result of the election, di ba? But for me, ang iniisip ko na trabaho ko is to find a way na ma-maximize ng mga kandidato namin yung 90-day campaign period wherein hindi nila kailangan problemahin yung pagpunta dito, hindi nila kailangan problemahin yung pag-coordinate sa local officials. So it's more of logistics job. Tsaka mabigyan sila ng pagkakataon na ma-maximize yung pagpapaalam sa mga kababayan natin kung ano nga, ulitin ko, yung nagawa nila at kung ano pa yung gagawin nila. And at the back of that, syempre, it's managing the office. Syempre, ang dami nating katulong, pero para tahi-tahiin lahat ng bagay niya. For example, make sure na sumusunod kami sa lahat ng COMELEC regulations, di ba? Syempre, meron kaming legal counsel, but of course, it's my responsibility to make sure that everyone follows, katulad repertorial requirements doon sa rallies and all these things.
Or yung mga baklas-baklas ng mga illegal na mga poster, gano'n.
Oo.
Kong, how involved is President Marcos in this campaign of Alyansa? Is he very hands-on?
Sa dami kasi ng trabaho, di ba, inuuna niya yung trabaho, kaya nga kami ang humahabol sa kanya.
Correct.
So kahapon nasa Iloilo siya, so punta kami Iloilo. Bukas, weekend naman, so pwede siyang imbitahin sa Davao del Norte.
Okay.
So siyempre mas importante talaga yung governance sa kanya.
We still have a lot of questions to ask you, Congressman Toby. But we have to go to
Okay.
a short break. So stay put. We will continue this conversation in
Kala
a
ko
bit.
20
Stay
minutes
with
lang
us.
to. May overtime.
may
Wala
nangloko.
na. You took over all our news.
We're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned because we will continue our discussion with Congressman Toby Tiangco. But also coming up, National Security Advisor Jonathan Malaya says no. The Philippines did not make any commitments to pull out the U.S. Typhoon missile system, despite Beijing's warnings. That story and more when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here on One News.
Some business news first. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas surprised markets by keeping interest rates steady. Its first pause after 3 straight cuts last year. Most analysts predicted a 25 basis point cut, but the BSP held off, citing global uncertainties.
The biggest factor, Kathy, is what we would call global policy uncertainty. We can measure that, and that has spiked in the last few weeks. So we're trying to put that into our models. It's kind of a new phenomenon for us. So we're recalibrating our models, as I'm sure other central banks are, and then we'll look at the analysis again and decide the next time what to do. It wasn't easy. It was a complicated decision, but as you know, we normally like to take baby steps in the same direction. But we found that we decided that it was better to pause now and then ease later. I think that would be less disruptive to the markets.
Adding to this uncertainty is U.S. President Donald Trump announcing a new round of reciprocal tariffs on trade partners. Nomura, for one, warns that these tariffs could disrupt global supply chains and drive up prices, affecting Asian economies like the Philippines. The BSP more or less agrees, saying the direct impact on the country will be minimal, but it is worried about spillover effects.
Looking at the most recent announcements, we think the effect on the Philippines will be fairly modest. First, our exports to the United States are relatively small. They're like 16% of all our exports, even though the U.S. is still our major export partner. What we worry about is the indirect effect, the spillover effects from the global economy.
Meanwhile, over in the West Philippine Sea, Chinese Coast Guard vessels continue to intrude into the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Just recently, according to PCG spokesperson Commodore J. Tariela, the Philippine Coast Guard was able to push back CCG 3304 from 43 nautical miles off Bolinao, Pangasinan to approximately 101.44 nautical miles away off Bani, Pangasinan. But yesterday, CCG 3103 took its place, and despite the size difference, the BRP Cabra stood its ground, maintaining its position within the Philippine EEZ. To address the ongoing tensions, the Philippine Navy is considering a West Philippine Sea Command, while the Coast Guard plans to acquire new ships to strengthen maritime security.
That statement or that proposal is well taken. The armed forces has different unified commands, which address not only internal but also external defense operations. But however, the recommendation will be duly noted and we will be studying them.
President Bongbong Marcos has already approved the acquisition of 5 more 97-meter vessels for the Philippine Coast Guard from the Japanese, from Japan, no? And then, of course, the 40 vessels that will be coming from France. 20 of those will be built in France, and 20 of those will be built here in the Philippines. At the same time, as we decide the acquisition of vessels.
Meanwhile, the National Security Council reaffirmed that the Philippines did not make any commitments to China to remove the U.S. Typhoon missile system. Recall that President Marcos has said that it would only be withdrawn if China stops its aggressive actions in the West Philippine Sea.
The Philippines never promised the People's Republic of China that we will draw the Typhoon missile system. The Typhoon missile system is deployed only for defense capabilities and will only be used in that manner. It is part of the defense modernization efforts, which the PRC is also doing. Okay, so there's nothing irregular about this.
Okay, let's get back to our guest. Still with us tonight, Navotas Congressman Toby Tiangco, also the campaign manager of Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas, which is what we're talking about tonight. Who do you view as your main opposition now?
No, I don't look at who the opposition is, but I just look at our candidates.
Mm-hmm. So
because I don't want to be distracted, but I just concentrate on our candidates.
So in the study that you commissioned, hindi you didn't take into account the opposition, who's the most
No, of course,
likely to
of course
oppose
we
that?
know, but I don't concentrate because I cannot control what they're going to do, di ba? Hindi ko naman kayang kontrolin kung anong gagawin nila. Kahit naman sa kandidato namin, hindi ko kayang kontrolin. Pero at least nakakausap ko sila. I can show them the surveys. Pwede namin pag-usapan kung ano yung strategies. Eh doon sa kabila, gagawin nila kung ano yung gagawin nila, di ba? So, why will I bother with them? So, I just spend my time with our candidates to make sure that we talk about it, ask them what they need, how we can help. So, ganun.
So it sounds like, Kong, no, medyo, it's a little bit more administrative. Yung job mo is more like admin, managing logistics, paperwork. In terms of yung actual strategy.
Yun, the strategy, pinag-uusapan nga namin based on the
So
the
pero may
surveys.
input din yung kada kandidato.
Yeah, of course, kasi sila yung taya dyan di ba? Tsaka, I've never run for ako personally, hindi pa naman ako tumatakbo sa national position, di ba? So I need their inputs and just pag-usapan namin paano yung resources, tsaka yung oras, mas marami ang makadinig ng kanilang mensahe. At hindi maging mahirap sa kanila na mangampanya. Yun yung
No, you're right. You haven't actually tried to go for the Senate or any national
No,
position.
I
You've
haven't.
stuck to Navotas,
Yes.
which is your bailiwick. And then parang, ngayon ko lang na-realize na, you're doing a national campaign.
Yes, first time, di ba?
I'm sure you watched the U.S. elections quite closely. What
No.
lessons? Oh, hindi din. Wala kang
Walang
lessons.
oras.
Walang oras?
Hindi ako nanonood hindi ako
You didn't take any lessons away from...
No, hindi ko napanood.
Kasi parang there's a lot of similarities, right? You keep talking about how divisive we are. Divisive din sila doon. They're very polarized, right? It's extremes na at this point.
Yeah, but
So have we become.
Hindi ko napanood yun.
Kong, I also wanted to ask you about the remarks of former President Duterte last night at the proclamation rally of PDP Laban. He accused President Marcos again of using drugs,
Okay.
particularly heroin.
Okay.
He also used the word bangag.
Okay.
I'm curious, how does Alyansa, or you particularly, how do you plan on addressing that? I mean, what's the message?
I don't plan to address it, 'di ba? Kasi gano'n naman yung playbook ni President Duterte, 'di ba? Basta't even before, 'di ba? Basta't kalaban niya, yun naman ang number one accusation niya 'Di ba? Either a drug user or drug pusher. 'Di ba? So bakit pa natin papatulan yung bagay na 'yon?
So in the coming sorties, we shouldn't expect President Bongbong to address that in any way.
I hope not. Di ba? Wala it's a playbook. It's already a formula. Di ba? Basta't kalaban, o ikaw, pusher o user. Ganun lang naman yun.
But as far as your candidates are concerned, your advice is don't comment on it. No need to respond to it.
Hindi man naman, hindi nga namin tinitignan kung ano yung sinasabi nung...
Really? Don't pay attention?
Nung kabila. Basta yung pinag-uusapan namin, ano yung plataforma, ano yung mga dapat mong paalam. Kasi may sarili-sarili naman silang... First of all, 5 minuto lang yung time ng bawat isa. Strictly followed yan.
Kasi kung strict kayo sa 4 to 7, malamang strict din yung time sa stage.
Strict kami dyan. So, sisimula kami ng 4, kahapon napilitan kami ng 4:30 kasi medyo mainit pa. So, meron silang 5 minutes and they all follow naman. So, imagine, bakit nila aksayahin yung oras nila para sagutin yung isang bagay? Ang importante, ulit, malaman ng tao kung paano sila makakatulong doon sa buhay ng bawat Pilipino. Yun naman ang mahalaga So, bakit nila sasayangin yung oras nila doon sa bagay na yun?
Okay, ito po. When it comes to answering questions, debates, Kong, will you be requiring, or what's your advice to candidates? Should they be attending yung mga debates?
They know better if they should attend a debate or not. Because a debate is a venue kung saan malalaman ulit ng tao yung plataforma nila. If they've a better way, they've better use of their time, why will we stop them? Why will we force them to go to a debate kung meron naman silang mas dapat puntahan, di ba? Tsaka, di ba, kahit sa eskwelahan, di ba, hindi naman lahat kaya nga may debating team, kaya nga hindi yung buong classroom na 30 estudyante pwedeng mapunta sa debating team dahil merong magaling talaga magdebate. Pero meron din naman magaling sa economic subjects, may magaling sa math na hindi naman magaling magdebate, di ba? So depende yun. Kung ano yung strength mo, syempre doon mo gagamitin yung oras mo.
But okay, forget about a formal debate, but how do we get them to face the media more? Because I get that, okay, you can go straight to the influencers now, pero there's also a question of accountability, right?
Yes.
The chance for us to ask the hard questions, a chance for us to ask the issues-based questions, and ano ba talaga yung platform, and look at the track record and all of that. So how do we get them to talk to the media more?
Hindi, yun na nga. Doon sa mga press conference. That's why we arrange a press conference. For example, ang hirap kasi nung yung ganito, pag pinagbigyan mo isa, hindi pa pwedeng hindi mo pagbibigyan. You know, I haven't been into a face-to-face interview since 2016 siguro, if I recall. Basta before 2019. Pero since may napagbigyan akong isa a few days ago,
Then you have to do it.
then you have to do. Imagine if all our candidates, since may napagbigyan isa, pupunta sila. So, I'm requesting, request ko sa ating mga stations, sa ating mga media outlets, para naman may effective use of time yung aming mga kandidato. Kaya kami may press con bago mag-rally every time. So every time bago kami mag-rally, may 1 p.m. press con kami para efficient use of their time again. Again, ang sasabihin ko, for me, 90-day period for everyone. Kung sino yung mas maraming, sino ang kandidato na mas nakapagpaliwanag ng plataforma nila sa 90 days, syempre, mas makakalamang yun. So yun ang trabaho ko. No? That's why I organize things for them. Parang personal valet, ganun. Ako yung,
I think more than a personal valet.
Ng mga kandidato. Hindi, tawag ko sa kanila, boss, anong utos nyo sa akin? Anong
I'm
utos
sure
nyo?
it's more than that. But
Anong utos nyo gagawin ko? Personal valet o personal concierge?
you know, when you look at the pre-election surveys, all your candidates are doing well, more or less. Are you confident of a sweep? Meaning 12?
Okay. Since we have 12 candidates, of course, we want, hindi naman kami maglalagay ng 12 kandidato kung ang goal namin, hindi manalo yung 12, di ba? Kaya kami may 12 dyan, kasi susubukan namin, talagang susubukan natin na manalo yung mga kandidato natin. Pero in the end, siyempre, yung taong bayan rin naman ang magdidesisyon. No? So pinapakita lang namin, we're offering them 12 candidates. At the end, kung ano yung gusto ng taong bayan, yun din naman masusunod.
So there's no like, parang minimum number of candidates that you hope will make it to the Senate.
No, we hope.
You're pushing for everybody to win, essentially.
Yes. Para talagang buong-buo yung suporta doon sa programa ng ating Pangulo. Kasi gusto natin yung last 3 years, talagang kung ano yung nasimulan, like, we've never had this good GDP. We've never had this good an economy, no? So, siyempre gusto natin patuloy yun hanggang matapos yung termino ni Presidente Marcos.
Meron ako to disagree.
Okay.
But we don't have time for that. But you know, because there's a lot of issues with the economy. We touch on the inflation, food prices.
Yes, admittedly, there's a lot of issues.
The slowdown in foreign investment.
Yes. Admittedly, there's a lot of issues. Madaming suliranin. Kaya mas kailangan natin yung mas malakas na suporta ng ating mga senador para yung legislative agenda natin is mas maisulong natin. Because admittedly, marami ka talagang dapat resolbahan ng mga bagay.
Hirap nun ipa-resonate, na yung mere fact na it's the legislative agenda that you're trying to push. It's not, it's not very entertaining.
No, but
it's not very...
you listen to the candidates, they really say kung ano yung nagawa nilang batas, kung ano yung mga batas na plano pa nilang gawin. Sinasabi nila doon.
Do you think it resonates with the people, with the electorate?
No, I think, because, ano naman gusto mo madinig sa kandidato, di ba? Ang gusto mo madinig sa kandidato, paano ko papagandahin buhay mo?
There is one dark cloud, though, that is the 2025 national budget, right?
Okay.
It's being challenged right now in the courts, saying it's unconstitutional kasi maraming problema with it, right? They took away the PhilHealth subsidies. Education is no longer the biggest, pot. It doesn't have the biggest funding. In
Yes,
the
but
bucket.
why is the president? Yes.
So
Yes.
to your point about legislative agenda, and this is vote all of these senators so that the president can push his legislative agenda. I mean, how do you reconcile that? Kasi nga, the issue is over the 2025, with the 2025 budget, is over the incumbents pushing it through, right? How do you get past that?
Hindi nga So, dyan nga ako nagtataka di ba? bakit si Presidente ang bakit pati si Presidente nadamay? When it was a budget, I can tell you categorically, it is a budget that he is not happy about.
But he signed it.
It's a long story if I'll explain why he had to do it, because the repercussions would have been bigger if he had not signed it.
Which
But
means
he's-
a reenacted budget.
Oh,
That was
yun,
the
di ba?
only-
Wala naman may gusto na reenacted budget eh. Ganun ang mangyayari. So napilitan siya. Pero until now, di ba, yung mga may intervention sila. Huwag tayo mainip, may intervention silang gagawin para matuloy pa rin yung mga programang dapat gawin. Kasi kahit alam naman, it's no secret that he was not happy about it.
So are you saying, Kong, na we should expect na magkakaroon ng mga remedies, no? Yung may mga available remedies
Definitely.
naman.
I just don't want to be the one to announce it because I'm not authorized to do so.
Okay.
But definitely, there will be remedies para yung mga programa na dapat ipagpatuloy, popondohan. Definitely.
Okay. Well, I guess, punta naman tayo sa re-election bid nyo.
Okay.
I think naging mayor ka, di ba? Tapos ngayon, congressman kayo ulit. So you have...
Naging mayor ako, naging congressman ako,
naging mayor ka ulit, ngayon congressman ka ulit.
Naging congressman
Tama,
ulit
di ba?
ako, yes.
And then, this coming 2025, this coming election, 2025 na pala, you're running again in Navotas.
Yes.
But your campaign will kick off next month pa.
March 28, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
So how will you be juggling everything?
Time management.
Really? That's a
Yes.
lot.
Is it
That's
that
a
simple?
very big
I don't know.
Ang daming work na because at that point, the national campaigns will be heating up. If it's not, I mean, it already started with a bang, right? Tapos by late March, it'll be all fired up. In overdrive.
Kaya yan.
Kaya?
Kaya yan.
Kaya yan.
Time management.
Okay, sorry. I had one last phone-in
Okay.
question from our
Okay.
producer, which is, kamusta naman daw yung interaction ni Makati Mayor Abby Binay and Senator Pia Cayetano?
Okay naman, di ba? I don't know why they make issues between, for example, the
Were they positioned next to
Di
each other?
magkatabi sila, di ba?
Yun nga, sadya daw ba?
Sadya ba yun?
Sadya
Hindi,
daw ba?
alphabetical. Parang alphabetical na hindi,
Surname,
paano ba yun?
last name?
Abalos, Binay, parang ganun eh. Because even that, inayos namin.
Oo
Okay,
nga. Interesting.
yun inaayos ko. Like, for example, noong first rally, syempre, ang unang magsasalita, Abalos. So, iikot siya. So, everyone has the chance to be the first speaker and everyone has the chance to be the last speaker. So, walang selosan,
So
di ba?
ganito, di ba? Abalos yung start sa first
Oh,
rally.
Abalos.
Sa second, Binay naman yung first.
Hindi.
Tapos,
Tama. Yung Binay naman yung first.
Kasi number 2. Tapos yung class number 3, Pia Cayetano, siya yung magiging...
Siya
yung bukas.
Siya yung magiging ganon. So, tapos yung huli naman, mapupunta doon
It's a
sa ano.
valid question because before she announced her candidacy, si Mayor Binay was hitting the Cayetanos over the Embo barangays.
No. You have to understand, there's nothing personal, di ba? If you're a Binay, you have to protect the rights of the citizens of Makati. If you are a Cayetano, you have to protect the rights of the citizens of Taguig.
In short, no one but the two of them can understand each other's position better kasi they're both in the same boat.
Hindi, di ba?
Kumbaga,
Paano mo
parang-
naman hindi pagtatanggol yung karapatan ng mga kababayan mo? Pero ito national election eh. Hindi naman dito pinag-uusapan yung karapatan ng mga residente ng Taguig o residente
But
ng
nag-uusap
Makati.
naman sila.
Hindi.
They talk?
Tignan niyo yung behind the scenes. Wala namang hindi nag-uusap doon.
Good to know. We're gonna have to leave that there and on a good note, I guess. Thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
tonight. Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas Campaign Manager and Navotas Representative Toby Tiangco.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to pause for another quick breather, but right after that, the Education Department is now looking for alternative funding sources for programs hit by the U.S. foreign aid freeze. The details on that next. Keep it here. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on The Big Story.
The Department of Education will maximize its budget and seek other funding sources to save 4 billion pesos worth of programs put on hold due to the U.S. foreign aid freeze. Education Secretary Sonny Angara vowed to exhaust all means to keep these programs running despite losing support from the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. The suspension follows President Trump's order to pause all foreign aid on his first day in office for 90 days pending a review. Now that's left major DepEd programs and project staff, contractors, and suppliers in limbo. At least 39 U.S.-funded programs are at risk, including ABC Plus, which improves early grade literacy in the Bangsamoro region, and Gabay, which supports learners with special needs. In 2023, USAID spent some $193 million on programs across various sectors, such as education, health, and disaster response in the Philippines.
We're celebrating many things today. Of course, Valentine's Day, even if Regina's not part of that crew. It's also the birthday of Juan Ponce Enrile and Chris Aquino.
What, just because I'm in blue?
Yes, just because you're in blue. But there is also, get this guys, the historic win of the Philippine men's curling team. Rice on Ice is how the Philippine Sports Commission, or PSC, is calling the capture of the country's first ever gold medal at the 9th Asian Winter Games. Our team defeated South Korea 5-3 in the finals in Harbin, China. Composed of Mark Pfister, Enrico Pfister, Alan Frey, Christian Haller, and Benjo de la Armente, the Philippine men's curling team achieved the highest feat by any Southeast Asian athlete in the history of the Games. With this win, the national team secured a spot at the 2026 Winter Olympics pre-qualifiers later this year, bringing them that much closer to representing the country in Italy. Big congratulations to the men's curling team. Here is a clip of the team after their truly remarkable win. And do stay tuned, because coming up next are the Real Sports Pros. Play-by-play with Andre Felix and Cheska Litton-Cala
You
is
just
up
took
next.
their news again.
I know! I tried to do it justice. Nahingal ako.
Kaya nga when we heard it, sabi namin, teka lang, balita namin yun mamaya. Sabi na, pre-empt na tayo
Kasi overtime daw kami.
Hindi, okay lang. But you know, it's really big news. Congratulations, Team Philippines. And happy weekend. Any plans for the Valentine's Day?
Well, bukas. I postponed it to tomorrow.
Okay.
Kasi nga,
I think everyone thought that way.
Yeah.
Baka bukas traffic din.
for sure.
Ikaw, Reg, you, any plans?
Just a quiet dinner. Even though Sean says I'm not in Valentine colors. But, I mean, the couch is already red.
The set is already
She said,
prepared
do
for
I look cheesy
Valentine's.
to you?
Si Boss Pawi, tatanungin pa ba kita kung anong plans mo for
Done
Valentine's? Ha?
Baka ikaw dapat kong tanungin.
Oh,
Anong
Tapos
plan
na,
mo
nag-
ng
What was
Valentine?
the Valentine
Lunch
Ah,
kami.
okay.
Oh. May flowers pa.
Simple lunch.
You, Miss Red.
It's actually my 10th wedding anniversary today.
Oh, happy
Wait, no, but I have
Wow.
2 wedding dates. We
You
do,
do.
because I'm Christian, my husband's Catholic,
Yeah,
and we
okay.
don't like celebrating on Valentine's because it's so crowded everywhere.
Oh, why?
So we usually celebrate the second wedding date.
Happy anniversary.
Congratulations, Ted.
Happy anniversary, nevertheless.
Happy
anniversary.
Sige na, umiyak na si Booker. We've got the latest results from the NBA, including marquee matchups in the Wild Wild West, plus a preview of the NBA All-Star Weekend.
And history on the ice for the Philippines, as they mentioned already, as our national men's curling team wins the country's first Asian Winter Games gold medal.
Woo, congratulations, Team Philippines. I'm Andre Felix.
And I'm Cheska Litton-Cala.
And here's tonight's play-by-play.
Ramiro, the show by Mamoy leaves. Victor Moves puts it on. Unbelievable. Gemma on the left side.